Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a chess show on Pot TV. My name is Sasha Star, and today our distinguished guests are Professor Ken Regan. Welcome to the show, Ken.
Hello from Beach Haven, New Jersey. Unfortunately, too much glare outside on the beach, so therefore from my room. But thank you for having me on.
It's great to have you, and also Professor Dan Fleetwood. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Hi, Sasha. Hi, Ken. It's good to be here.
Excellent. And now, Ken, you are following, I'm pretty sure, Grand Chess Tour, Rapid and Blitz tournament. Before we will go into classical Grand Chess Tour tournament followed by these events. So what's your feeling about this tournament?
Right, yep.
Predictions.
Mm-hmm.
And you can start maybe to show some of the games which are very, very interesting, quite a few of them.
Yes. Well, there's one game in particular that I'm looking for. I haven't found it yet. My laptop is acting fairly slowly. So let me just, but we talk about what this is. This is the crowning event of the Grand Chess Tour. May not be the last event, but it certainly is here I have the game. It certainly is the most heralded because it has all three, Rapid, Blitz, and Classical, in the same location, with the Classical part starting on Monday, being the famous Sinkfield Cup.
Yeah.
So, and at which we have had some notorious stories emerge in the past 2 years, one of which is back in the news for us. So the interesting thing about the just concluded Rapid portion of the event is that there's no clear first place, and indeed only 3 points separate the field. So the field may separate more in the Blitz part, but nobody is out of it at this point, which is actually fairly unusual for for this stage of the tournament. So okay, let me share just the tab. And so let's see. So tell me if you're seeing Fabiano Caruana's game against Nodirbek Abdushadarov. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So this game is notable for a position with 2 queens against 1. Caruana saving the draw. So, so now, first of all, a very rare encounter on the world stage, the Birds opening as white.
This is already notable, Ken, because this is one of the few openings that's stronger when played for black.
You beat in the Dutch defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those paradoxes.
Oh, that interests me. Yeah, because maybe black could have done something other than d5, although the computer already gives black a slight edge in this position. So
actually, I remember from my younger days, the recommendation for black was not to play bishop g4, but to play g6, bishop g7, knight f6, castle, and black has at least an equal game, probably even more.
Right. Indeed, the fianchettoing black star suited bishop is what discouraged me from playing this way as white.
Yep.
And it's why I played b3 to put my bishop on that diagonal earlier.
Yep.
Right.
But anyway, this already becomes a very strange opening line just after a few moves. And
this is the beauty of Rapid, right? I mean, you can play stuff like this and mostly get away with it.
Yeah. Well, black no longer has an edge according to the computer. The computer says this crazy position is dead equal. White doesn't play c4, which would have been a more essential challenge thing. But anyway, okay, so now these are ways I like playing as white, because now this is the Stonewall formation where you can go for a kingside attack. Assuming white plays d4, of course, but white doesn't. Now b3, okay, so this is again looking like the way I like to play as white. So I'm actually would be fairly happy as white. I would be dreaming of being able to attack on the king side, except none of my pieces are there, and black is the one staking out territory on the king side. It must be said that black has an advantage in development, but white has a simple plan. I was going to say white has, I did not mean to do that. White has a simple plan that would be to play d3. Let me go back to the position. Okay, so white has a simple plan. Oh, darn it! I'm sorry, I'm hitting the wrong key on my laptop.
Yeah, it's that old end key.
Well, it's the page down key.
Okay.
Is to the left, not below. Okay, so white has a plan to play d3, knight d2 to f3 to e5. That's how I would quite automatically play this position. Instead, white plays bishop f3, which is maybe challenging the center more directly. Black castles into it, and white plays knight c3, a move I never play in these positions. And in fact, actually, black now has a pawn advantage with the move rook h6, according to the engine, but black plays it safe. Okay, so now knight e2, or at least the knight's coming to d4 or g3. I was about to say before I clicked ahead on the move. And now white occupies e5 with the bishop. Well, this is still playing on the themes of the strong squares. White actually does have a little more purchase on the center than black does, because e5, black's knight on f6 prevents black from playing f6, whereas white is more readily able to kick a piece out of e4 if one goes there. Anyway, black starts forcing white back. Now white has to occupy the center with a pawn. Now black gets piece to e4. White goes, now white will kick it out. And whoops, now this is meant to be a miscue. It was better to play h3 so that black doesn't play h3 in this position. So h3 now appears on the board, and black is, black has done something. G6 apparently wasn't.
I don't understand that move at all.
What, h3 or white's g3?
I don't understand g6.
Yeah, I don't understand g6 either.
I just don't see what. That seems completely anti-thematic. But Caruana is clearly a very strong player. I was just trying to figure out what his idea was.
Yeah.
In exchange on f5 to take with a g pawn and then.
And open up a second. Okay. I can see that. I
don't see a lot.
Yeah, but my idea would be, wow, you've got a rook on a1. I've got my rook more active on e8, already poised in the center, and I've got more space on the king side. So time to advance in the center with f6.
Yep, agree.
So g6, a stodgy move, and now that gives white just one tempo to engage that side of the board. Okay, now white's pieces are all working, and this must be judged dynamically balanced. Okay, so now f6 could have happened, but Caruana forces white to solidify the center, and now actually the position has become more normal looking for this kind of play. Again, this is completely dynamically balanced. It's just that Caruana missed a chance to invade in the position. And okay, so white now starts making something on the queen side, and still dynamically balanced according to the engine. Black is temporarily a pawn ahead, but black can't really hold on to it with best play. So white's just going to gang up on that pawn. Okay, and this is a neat little tactical trick. Okay, because if you take the rook, then white goes queen takes b6 check, queen a5 check, and rook b1 check is mate.
Yep.
So okay, so now at this point, well, it's still dynamically balanced, but white is the one who has the initiative here. The one thing about this, the one flaw in white's position is that latently black's pawn on h3, allowing a checkmate threat on g2, is a worry for white, keeps white from overextending. Okay, but otherwise, white has more of black's pieces under attack than black does white's, but the engine still says dynamically balanced. So black, a little bit uncomfortably, couldn't go to the A file because black's queen would have been exposed on the A file. So it's a little uncomfortable for black to put the king out on C7, but we've got 3 pieces defending B6, which white is attacking with 3 pieces. Okay, so now black judges that this is perfectly fine. And now what's interesting is that the play now shifts over to the king side, and that threat of H3 is eliminated. Okay, so now, we don't necessarily, this is rapid play. It's both players were down to 90 seconds, which is reasonable for play at this kind. It's a little more time still than you would have in a typical blitz game at this stage. But we can't criticize what goes on too harshly because this is just a very crazy position. So the question is, in this position, is white in any danger of his position falling apart because D4 is loose? It's sort of uncomfortably held by white's rook on B4. And black goes right after attacking it, although this move is mistimed. White, however, does not find the right way to pin the pawn. The right way to pin the pawn was the other rook. So this is an interesting wrong rook situation. And the other thing white could have done is simply taken the pawn and tuck the king in the corner and say, hey, you made your king a little more open. You're going to suffer some consequences of that. But anyway, this move allows black to step back, and it looks like white is winning something, but actually not. So the position tactically does not help white, and any advantage white would have had by other means is now gone. So now black plays a really nice tactical move, though. Okay, so E3, the pawn is immune because let's just see this variation. This is the queen takes C3, just take the rook. I was looking at C takes D4, but just chop the rook. Okay, so now it begins advancing pawns. Black comes this way. I mean, this is really amazing stuff for 30 seconds left on the clock in a rapid game. We have more pawn engagements over here. And you don't have enough time to calculate what's actually going on in these positions. Okay, so that's a mistake, but we're not going to criticize these mistakes too harshly. Instead, we're going to watch the dance of past pawns in this position. Okay. All right, so that was that taking the pawn was a mistake. Instead, black should have played rook d7. But gosh, how do you calculate this? You're allowing white's pawn to d7 and queen a2, a8, checkmate if you don't watch out. Okay, so black eliminates the threat. So now we have a position where white is going to get a second queen. That h pawn is on the loose, and this should have lost the game. It is tactically preventing white from queening by playing queen h1 check and take the queen, but it allows white to gain the c5 square, and from c5 white can do other things that eventually would have allowed white to connect on the 8th rank and queen the pawn. Okay, so white in fact did that. Here we go. And now white connects on the 8th rank and queens the pawn. Okay, so the computer thinks this is winning for white, but maybe the computer is not even right about this, because black does have, as long as the two queens are not going to checkmate white's king, black has a certain amount of counterplay. Okay, so now black checks there and plays the king in. So now we're going to put the king on a safe square guarded by the pawn and challenge the two queens to deal with the passers. Now, okay, the computer does say white is up 15.9 with queen b1 check, the move that appeared, but it's not always that easy. And in fact, this is a little bit of a slip, according to the computer. Queen e1 better first. Don't allow the black king
absolutely impossible to calculate. This is crazy.
Yes, not with 40 seconds left on the clock. But we'll find so now 2 pawns on the 7th rank, battling the two queens. There are not even any checks, let alone ways to give checkmate. Now, it turns out that it says that the only move to keep a winning advantage in this position is for white to play queen f2, and after king d1, play queen c3, and black can't queen. So this is actually worth showing. Instead, white chickened out and reached a drawn position. But this line is fairly nice. So queen f2, king d1, and then queen c3. And the neat fact is that, actually, queen e1 is going to be checkmate. So black has to play queen d2, and then you take. And now this is amazing. I mean, you're battling two passed pawns on the 7th rank with just one queen. But let's see, you can park your king there. Let's see, king f1, right. So what happens is that if you play here, now black is going to lose one of the pawns and have to block the other. Okay, so black can't go here because then queen takes e2 would pin the pawn. So that leaves only this as a recourse. But now, let's see, so queen b6 check, queen e3 check. Wait, is white actually making progress here? Ooh, oh no, yeah, what you do, let's see, you do this. Let's see, this is really one for the books. Now, black can't play king d1 because queen d3 check, we've looked at it. Yes, and if king b1, then queen e1 check takes e2. So that is the winning maneuver for white. Very pretty.
Yeah, queen is a queen.
Queen is a queen, but white sacrificed the queen on c2. So white did this just to avoid losing. White was down to 13 seconds to black's 45 at this point. You're getting 10-second increment per move. It's a fairly slow paced rapid, starting with 25 minutes, but still. And now this is just a garden variety drawn equal position, and the players agree to draw. So definitely a lot of food for further analysis there.
Yeah, that's what's happening in the repeat games and also in blitz games when they have limited time to assess the position and find the best possible moves. That happens. That's exactly what's happened in this game.
Yeah. Now, in fact, in the last round, 4 out of 5 games were decisive.
Mm-hmm.
And Hikaru Nakamura, who had been doing poorly after 6 rounds in the tournament, got himself back into contention. Let's see, with...
we don't see anything on your screen. It's
yes, I stopped sharing for the moment, but I can
okay.
back in. Oh, yeah, in fact, I'm sorry, I had my camera off.
Okay.
Because people were coming, my wife was coming by. You may have seen her for a little bit. Yes, on the last day, Hikaru had 2 draws and a win. So he won this last round to get climb back into contention. And so that might be worth looking at also. So let me share my screen again. Okay, so I have this tab now. So Hikaru Nakamura against Praggnanandhaa. Always interesting. Incidentally, the first round pairing of the Sinquefield Cup, the pairings are known. And the first round pairing of the Sinquefield Cup will be Ding Liren versus Gukesh.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so World Championship preview. So here we go again, playing rapid. Hikaru, by the way, plays some of my old openings, not because he saw me in 2001 and 2007. We met at the U.S. Open in 2007, and I challenged him to 2 games of my baseline chess with Fischer rules, where you start with just pawns and place the pieces one at a time on the back row as you see fit, keeping the Fischer castling rule. But he won both those games, but I had a winning position in the first game. Anyway, it was back at the U.S. Open in 2007. Okay, so fairly normal build-up. Again, white emphasizing the strong square on e5, and this time white playing the pawns on d3, e3 to keep a black piece out of e4, the way that I'm used to handling the position. However, the engine says that black has certainly equalized, if anything, possibly an insignificant advantage, if you just would have taken the. Oh darn! I hit the wrong key again. Okay, so let's go back here. So black should capture on e5 and play queen d7 and ask white, what are you doing next? Black does have a more space in the center with the pawns on c5 and d5. So instead, black gives away the extra space in the center to challenge the e5 square. This is also a viable way of playing, but only equalizes. Okay, so lots of pieces come off. And what do we have? We have a position, again, the computer actually likes this slightly more for black, maybe because white's d pawn is backward, and if it advances, then white will have hanging pawns or an isolated c pawn. So maybe the computer thinks that the structure is a little better, but there isn't really so much in this position. So it's curious how white is able to win this game in 20 more moves. The players have also been, they still have almost 20 minutes left on the clock. So this is by no means arriving in time pressure yet. Black made a feint at playing b5, but thought better of it. So it's a question of what is your plan? Well, white's plan might be to advance in the center with e4, e5, but after rerouting the knight. Okay, game is completely balanced, and I'm a little surprised that white allowed queen f3. But I guess black didn't have any follow-up to it. So he comes into f3 again. Now white does something organized to evict it. So now we've got this end game. All rook endings are draws, but this one's not going to be drawn. And maybe that wasn't such a good idea for black, because now white actually does have a latent preponderance in the center. And f3 is going to be a really good square for white's king. So let's see, is white able to get there? Yes, because of some tactics. Black can't take on e3 because the penetration by white's rook on b6, threatening a6, is more important. And white's knight on f2 neatly holds d3. So
Yeah,
now
black's knight over there on a5 has just been a spectator.
Right, and it can't go back to c6 because that hangs
Exactly.
on. And it can't even go b7, d6 for the same reason. So that knight is going to be very difficult to activate. Well, in fact, he did do this because of a tactic. Okay, the tactic knight d4 discovered check. So sorry, missed. Yeah, so black was able to reroute the knight. All right, so now we're at turn 40. Why does black lose this position? Shouldn't lose. You were going to, all right, white. This was effective. Now black really has a backward b pawn. And let's see, what does black miss? Okay, so black decides to stay active, but now that b pawn is really a goner, and white's e3 is securely defended. But actually, the engine still says that that black is doing fine in this position. So let's see. So where's the losing moment? Apparently, that's the losing moment.
Mm-hmm.
Why should? You're just. Wow. Oh, you're just forgetting that knight c7 is happening.
Oh my goodness! Minutes. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. Yeah. You just had to. Where was white's? The rook on e6 was going to go. Black had to abandon doubling rooks on the e file and just play rook d8. Which
it had to be just a hallucination.
Yeah. So, whoops. Okay, and now, unfortunately, completely gone. Not much to see here. Okay, well, these things happen in rapid that might not happen in real chess, and black gave up. Might not happen in classical chess, I should say. I'm being biased if I say real chess. So there we have it. Interesting things happening. Yes, of course, I'm screening the tournament. And yes, of course, my formulas embody the reality that more mistakes are going to be made in rapid chess. That's just how it goes. A difference of about, well, this time control, it's a difference of about 185 ELO in quality, according to my rating time curves, which I'll just momentarily show.
So while you're bringing those up, Ken, is there going to be a change in field as they go from the rapid and blitz to the classical?
Yeah.
Yes, there is, because Ding is coming on the scene.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen that. And so who's he replacing, or who was his replacement in the rapid and blitz?
And Gukesh too.
Yeah, Gukesh too. Yeah, I'd have to look. The Grand Prix is not just 10 players. It's a rotation of players.
Got it.
So this is my curve of the decline in ELO from different time controls, where the 0 point, actually, I have it at 165 with the Bundesliga time control, because elite tournaments have longer time controls, but it doesn't make much difference if you use the FIDE standard time control as the 0 point, which gives you 150 minutes to turn 60. So the common thing is how many minutes to turn 60. So this kind of 25 minutes plus 10-second increment gives you 35 minutes to turn 60. So it's there on my curve. And my formulas adjust accordingly, and the players are playing fairly much up to snuff. For 3 minutes, 2-second increment of blitz, the difference is 575 ELO. There are plus or minus 25 error bars on those measurements. So the absolute location of points, has some variation, but nicely the difference between points, which is what I care about for calibrating these different fast time controls, is a little bit more robust. So even though I don't know that whether 575, which is a pretty round number, is the right calibration for game 5-minute blitz or 3 minutes blitz with 2-second increment, but I have a lot more confidence in my assertion that when you play Title Tuesday blitz time control, the difference is 60 ELO. So I measured absolutely at 635, but I have higher confidence that whatever those numbers are, the difference between them is close to 60. And the proof of that pudding is my numbers for Title Tuesday. So let me just show this briefly. So this is in my public data area. This was my show of evidence against widespread cheating in Title Tuesday competitions, and I used that 60 ELO adjustment. And the average ROI numbers that I get are very close to 50, like they should be. There are a few cheaters, and those few cheaters move things by a few hundredths. But a few accounts have been closed. But I have this is now 140,000 data points based on, and so there is no en masse cheating at Title Tuesday as has been alleged in certain corners. So anyway, so there actually is a measurable difference between 3+1 and 3+2 blitz chess, and right now, I will be using that difference because the blitz chess in the St. Louis Rapid Blitz is it's 5+2, which equates to 7 minutes to turn 60.
So the difference for me between 3+1 and 3+2 is I can play 3+2 and think, and in 3+1 I stop being able to think at some point.
Really? Okay. There's a concrete feeling of the difference then.
Yeah, and it's just because when you're playing online, it takes me time to move stuff. So I haven't gotten the feel for the super fast mouse movement that bullet specialists.
Yeah. Now a lot of people. How do you feel the difference between 3+2 online and 3+2 over the board?
Huge difference.
I'm just as slow either way.
Okay, a lot of people say huge difference, as Sasha did, but I measure no difference.
I'll tell you I play online mostly 3 minutes games without the increments, 1 or 2 seconds. Now, from that time control, when you're going 5+2, it's for me it's becoming almost as a tournament game because it's a huge difference between this and 3 minutes, no increments.
Mm-hmm. It's 5+2. You notice a difference.
Oh, huge. It's
Yeah,
just,
5+2 is it feels like glacial to me after playing like 3+2.
Okay,
Like,
interesting.
Oh my
yeah.
God, I have to actually pay attention now.
Yeah.
Because if you mess up, your opponent will actually see it.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
we'll see what happens. Okay.
all right. Well, it'll be exciting. So
Yeah.
I had not realized that Ding and Gukesh were joining. I missed that news. So good to hear. I guess I was too absorbed. I was too absorbed in the Olympics and watching baseball, I think.
Yeah. Have you had any interest in the gymnastics floor exercise timing controversy?
That's fascinating.
Well, so there's an NBC Olympics video where I don't know if it's real time. Unfortunately, I'm on vacation. I have a DVR of the broadcast, but there may have been a commercial inserted just between two shots where the Romanian gymnast has the Romanian flag. That would throw off my timing. But if the video does show real timing, then when you allow 60 to 70 seconds for the initial judgment, and then take the cast line that 1 minute and 4 seconds elapsed before the appeal was entered, then in the timeline of that video, if it's real time, that leaves only 19 to 29 seconds for the revised judgment to have been accepted, examined, ruled, and broadcast. And that's too low. You need about 30 to 40 seconds for that, which you get with the U.S. Timeline. So that's the thing. But I'm not able to verify, and no one has verified for me whether that video is in real time. So that's one of the little things I was exercised with, and the legal things, because it's between the International Gymnastics Federation and the IOC. There's no landing point for an appeal within either of those two organizations, so they went straight to CAS. But a judgment by Court of Arbitration for Sport can't be appealed within them. So it's forcing the U.S. Gymnastics Federation to go over the head of CAS to the Swiss National Court. And so that's something to think about as chess tries to enter the Olympics, because the process that I've been part of with investigatory chambers and then the ethics commission has a level of say, has worked fairly well, and it gives room for these kind of appeals.
Yeah, it's a very serious issue indeed. If chess will ever join Olympic Games, real Olympics, it's a serious issue, and it's not only the one issue. There is also control. There is issue. There are several issues which have to be ironed out, and because the opinion is that chess has its own Olympics, which is already going on for about 100 years, and the question is how much it would be gained by joining real Olympics. I think if it could be done, it would be beneficial for chess. It would get a lot of exposure, additional exposure, what it lacks now. So, but we'll see which way it will go.
I mean, all publicity is good publicity, right? So it'd be like having golf or so. It would be exciting, and we would watch. So
Take break dancing. It's made it to Olympics.
Yeah. Well, okay. Pass.
Okay.
I'm going to go play beach volleyball. No, I can't. My injury. I'm only 3 weeks post-op. So okay.
So let's hope next week we will already have some games from the real Ziegfeld Cup tournament, and
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to see how it will go there. In the
Okay.
meantime, thank you very much for today's program, and we'll
Thank
see you next week, same place, same time.
you.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.